Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So today we are going to learn topic 3, which is on numerical computation and expression. In this topic, we will separate it into several parts where we will cover on character strings and print methods, variables and 8 types of primitive data, and finally the numerical expressions and operations. Let's look at the character strings. A string literal is represented by putting double quotes around the text. Class string is the class that represents several characters. It is within the package called java.lang. We do not need to import them to use it. For example, we have in double quotes, this is a string literal. We can also have any numbers or just one character, for example, the letter X. Let's look at this example. What happens if we put double quotes for numbers? For example, in double quote, 5 plus 5. Is it a string? What do you think the output will be if we do system.out.println in double quotes 5 plus 5? You can try and run the code and you will get that it will print out 5 plus 5. So if you want to do any addition, you have to write 5 plus 5 without the double quotes. Then only it will do the addition and display the value 10. The println method, we have seen system.out.println in many examples before. So what is this method? System.out is an object that represents a destination, which is the monitor screen, to display the output. Println is a method where it prints a string and then terminate the line. The cursor remains at the start of the next line at the console so that the next printing will take place from that line. To use the println method, we can write system.out.println and then opening bracket and the sentence that we want to be displayed within the double quotes and closing the brackets, and you should have your semicolon at the end of it. Let's look at this example of println and print. What do you think the output we will get when we run this program? In the first line, we have system.out.println hello. That means it will display the word hello and then the cursor will go to the next line because we use println. Then I have system.out.print, my name is. What happened here is it will display on the screen the sentence my name is and the cursor will still be on the same line. That's why in the next line, when I wrote system.out.print Adila, it continues and display it on the same line. Of course, I can always combine those two sentences into one system.out.print. This example is to show that no matter how many system.out.print that you use, it will always be on the same line unless you use other ways such as the use of escape sequences, which we will learn in the next few slides, to force it to display and print onto the next line. Other than using escape sequences, you can also use println that does not display anything within it to force it to have a new line, because when it gets to system.out.println, it displays nothing, then the cursor goes to the next line. And finally, we have system.out.print what is your name, and the cursor will end on the same line because we use the print method, not println. Try and run the code, and the output that you will get is as shown here. We have hello, and then the next line, my name is Adila, and then the next line, what is your name? If you run this code on jgrepс, you don't actually see it because jgreps will display operation complete on the next line. But if you use NetBeans, it will display build successful on the same line. So you can see what happens when you use the print method. Other than print and println methods, we can also use printf method. If you learned C programming before, this might seem familiar. Printf is a convenience method to write a formatted string to the output using the specified format string and arguments. The syntax of it is system.out.printf, opening bracket, you would have your format string, comma, items, and closing the bracket. We will look at what does it mean by the format string in the next slide. Format string is a string with format specifiers. This slide shows the frequently used specifiers. If we have decimal integer, for example 200, 1, 2, and other numbers, the specifier is %d. If we have any float number, for example 35.34, we would use %f. If we have a string, for example we have the word Java, within the double quotes, we would use %s. %c is for character, just one letter, for example T, and then a boolean value, %b, it has the value true or false. And then we have %n, which is for line separator, and %e for exponential. Say that we want to output a floating point values. If we use println or print, we will display the whole value, for example 1.21997. We can use printf method to control the output appearance of the number. If we want to display the price value to 2 decimal point, we can write %.2f, where that is the specifier to refers to 2 decimal point. F here refers to a float number. We will see the different specifiers in the next slide. In printf, we need to write the format, which is %.2f, for example, a comma, and then follows by the value itself, such as the price. Price here refers to the item in the syntax. We can also write the value 1.21997 to replace price in the item. If you run the code, it will give you the same output, which is 1.22. You can also define the spaces that it should have by writing, for example, %10.2f, where 10 is the overall spaces as shown in the table. The 2 decimal points that includes the numbers and point form is included within the 10 spaces. So, %.2f from the value 1.21997 gives 1.22. The value 1.22 has taken 4 spaces, which are the value 1, dot, 2, and also 2. So when we write %10.2f, we are left with 6 blank spaces. So the output is, if you run it, you would have 6 spaces, 1, point, 2, and also 2. What happens, say that if you have this code, system.out.printf, %3d, 123456. %d means that it is a decimal number. %3d means that the space or width is 3 for a decimal number. But the number that we have, 123456, has the width of 6. What do you think will be displayed when we run the code? Because the spaces that we force it to have is less than what the value width is, it will expand and display our whole value, which is 123456. You can think of it as, in the beginning, we only plan to have numbers with the width of 3, but somehow we have larger number. We can use the spaces or width as a way of arranging our numbers to end at the same line. Think of it as a formatting style to align it at the right side. This slide is recapping what we have seen in the previous slides. Basically, the format is %width, dot, precision, and then the format type. In this example, you can see that you can have as many items in a single printf as long as you have it in the correct order. In the system.out.printf, we have a string that it will display value of x is %d, where that %d refers to the value of x, which is 10. And then we have the string and value of y is %6.2f, where it refers to the value of y, which is 5.373123. So when you run this code, it will display space 5.37. We also have %n, which means that at the end it will go to the next line. If you have the format type and items in the incorrect order, you will get an error when you try to compile it. So it is important that the items must match specifiers in the correct order. If we refer back to the syntax, in printf we would have percentage, flag, and then with, dot, precision, and then the format type. What we have seen so far does not use the flag. To justify the value to the left, you can use the minus sign. For example, if we have system.out.printf bracket percentage minus 10d 123456, it will align it to the left side instead of what we have seen before, the right side. So this means the empty spaces will be at the right. If you run this code, it will display 123456, and you would have space, 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 and also another space, because 123456 only takes 6 spaces, so we are left with 4 empty spaces. To separate any values larger than 1000, we can use the comma sign. For example, the value of 123,456, it can be difficult to read by 123456. So by writing percentage comma d, it will display the value of 123456 as 123,456. We also have the brackets to enclose for negative value. For example, if we have system.out.printf percentage open bracket d, comma, minus 123456, it will display the value of 123456 without the negative sign in the bracket. This slide shows more example of using the dash flag. Say that you want to fix the width or space to contain only 10 characters. If you write percentage 10s, it will display it on the right side. So to ensure that it will be displayed at the left side, we need to write percentage minus 10s. So it can be for any specifiers. We can also print multiple values. For example, system.out.printf percentage minus 10s percentage 10.2f. And then it should take in total, which is a string, that will be within the percentage minus 10s, and price is within the percentage 10.2f. The number of specifiers in printf should always have the same number of items. Make sure that the formats are correct as well. For example, percentage s should be string, percentage f should be a float number. Do we need to have a space when writing percentage minus 10s percentage 10.2f? It depends if you need the space to be part of the output. A simple example, say that we have system.out.printf percentage d space percentage d, comma, 1 and the number 2. It will have the output of 1 space and 2. If we wrote it as percentage d, the output will be 12. String concatenation. The string concatenation operator, plus, is used to append one string to the end of another. For example, peanut butter in a double quotes, plus in a double quotes, and jelly. It can also be used to append a number to a string. For example, if we have in double quote peanut butter plus 123, so everything will be a string. A string literal cannot be broken across two lines in the program. What it meant by that is you cannot write on the first line system.out.println peanut butter in double quotes, and then on your second line in double quotes and jelly. This will give you an error if you try to compile it. Instead, you can write it this way: system.out.println in double quotes peanut butter plus, and then in double quotes and jelly. It does not matter where you write the plus sign. It can be as shown over here, or you can have system.out.println peanut butter in double quotes plus, and then only on your second line in double quotes and jelly. It will still display the same result. Let's look at this example on using string concatenation operator, which is the plus sign. Strings can be concatenated into one long string, and also a string can contain numeric digits. 12 in here is a string, not a number, because it is within the double quotes. This means that 12 cannot be used to do any arithmetic operations. In this slide, you can see that we have a string and then concatenate with numeric value. For example, in the last system.out.println, we have the string of the sentence speed of ketchup, and then a number 40, and then another string kilometer per year. This is the output that you will get if you run the code. In string concatenation, the plus operator is also used for arithmetic addition. The function that it performs depends on the type of the information on which it operates. If both operands are strings, or if one is string and one is a number, it performs string concatenation. For example, if we have the word hello plus 1, it will display hello1, which is a string concatenation. However, if both operands are numeric, it will add them. For example, 1 plus 1, it will display 2. The plus operator is evaluated left to right, but if we have parentheses, we can force the order. Let's look at this code. What do you think the output of this? The first one is 24 and 45 concatenated, and then we have plus 24 plus 45. In this line, it will display 24 and 45 being concatenated. So the output for the first line is 24 and 45 concatenated 2445. What about the second one? Remember that brackets or parentheses force it to be evaluated first. So the output will be 24 and 45 added, 69. Keep in mind that if both operands are strings, or if one is a string and one is a number, it performs string concatenation. That is why the first line will give out 2445, not 69. Let's try this. What output is produced by the following? So the first one, we have x25, so that is a string concatenation because we have one string and one number. The second one, we have y, and then in parentheses or in bracket 15 plus 50, so that will be done first. So the calculation, it will get 65, then only it will do the string concatenation with y. So at that part, we will get y65. And then the last one, we have z plus 300 plus 50. So because we have one string and two numbers, it is similar to the x case. So in z, everything will become string concatenation. So the output for that will be z 30050. So overall, the output would be x25, y65, and z 30050. To summarize, we have covered about string and string concatenation and also the print methods, which include println, print, and printf, where we looked at the syntax, format specifiers, and also the flags in printf. So that's all for the first part.